At the end of last year, I completed this prop right here, my Fallout 4 laser rifle. And I took it to a sci-fi convention earlier in January, and for the most part it worked all right. There's definitely some issues to work out. So what I'm going to be doing over the next few videos in this particular series is address some of the problems with this prop and work on making it better. First up, improving the structural integrity of it and making it a little bit more durable. So if this is your first time here, I'm Jason, the creator of the Tabletop Battlefield. Thanks for watching. And here's the main issue I'm going to address today with this particular prop, but it can kind of apply to any kind of cosplay in a lot of ways, because you have to look at your piece, you got to figure out structurally what was wrong with it, and then come up with a new way to rebuild that or a way to resolve it. In this case, I'm just going to rebuild a few things because I just want to make it look nicer in the process. Now, originally, the front of the blaster here, or the laser rifle, was designed to be removable because there's electronics hiding in there, and I wanted to be able to get easy access to them. That causes two issues. One, if you move this rifle around a bit, especially if you kind of run with it, it starts coming loose pretty easily, and this can get knocked off and just kind of hang around and look pretty goofy. Second, because there's also a magnet down here where the bottom of the front plate joins this support in the bottom, you can't actually put any weight right here. If you put a little bit of weight, it pops off, which often leads to that popping off as well. Last week on this channel, I did a little bit of work with Mod Podge coding a 3D printed part, which was part of this laser rifle. I'm holding it right here. It's completed with the coating on it. I'm not going to paint and finish this thing until I've done all my upgrades to it. That's why it's kind of in its current state. So this is going to replace the front plate. So instead of having a foam front plate, I've now got a 3D printed one, which gets some of these details captured a little bit better. And in addition, instead of using magnets to hold this on, I'm going to put a few screws in here to screw it onto the front plate. Now, for the bar along the bottom, this was a kind of a brass rod wrapped in foam. But to give it a little bit more durability, I'm going to be using this aluminum rod right here. So this is going to replace the bulk of that bottom piece, the bottom support piece. I'm going to wrap this in foam to get a little bit more thickness. And I'm going to glue all that right here into the bottom of the 3D printed part. So this piece, as well as the bottom support piece, now becomes one thing. Which of course that causes an issue, right? I still got to have this thing removable here in order to get access to the electronics. So what I'm going to have to do is modify this attachment point down here, because this is where the real flexibility in this part is. So I'm kind of analyzing my design here, and you can see that that is where the weak point is in terms of allowing the structural piece to move around, because this area right here, this is just foam. It works, it's lightweight, but like as you can see there, it doesn't really hold things together pretty well. So what I'm going to do is replace these parts here with some wood pieces that will then, in one way or another, I'm not entirely sure how I want to do it yet, it's going to put a bolt through the aluminum piece and secure it that way. So if I want to get access to the electronics, I'm going to have to remove two bolts, two up front here and then one back here, and this whole support front piece will come off as one. Let's start the build process. I'm going to start by giving you a brief overview of my workflow inside Blender for creating the new front of the laser rifle. In order to turn the front of the laser rifle into a 3D print, I had to first perform a crazy balancing act to scan the piece, which was still attached to the rifle, and also I had to kind of lean over to get it to my scanner and just use my computer at the same time. It was a mess. Importing the piece into Blender, I scaled it using a known reference, which was the bottom support rod. Its diameter was just under 32 millimeters. Next, I had to rotate the scan so that it was aligned vertically. Since the handmade piece was not symmetrical, I'm going to fix that now as well. I'm only modeling half of the piece, and I will use the mirror modifier to automatically create the other side. And just another free reminder, before you start using the bevel command in Blender, as I do a few places here to kind of make things smoothed out, be sure to apply scale or something unexpected will happen. It's the whole Blender math thing that it does in the background. Also, when mirroring the object, be sure to delete the faces that will be on the interior of the object. This will sometimes mess up 3D printer slicers. I'm not sure if it still does, but it used to cause Cura to do some weird things back in the day. And by back in the day, I mean like 2 years ago, because that's how fast things are changing these days with 3D printers. And while I'm handing out some free Blender tips, while you're modeling this piece up, or any Blender piece for that matter, it's not a bad idea to do some sanity checks as you're going along. I'm using the Measure It plugin to figure out how big various pieces of this print are going to be, and then I'm comparing that to known measurements from the laser rifle to make sure it's going to be the correct size. Sometimes, especially if I'm changing my design a little bit, my known reference may not line up perfectly right, and you may not get exact print unless you're doing these checks along the way. And so no, this is not a complete Blender tutorial, but if you want me to go over this build in detail, leave a comment and I can see about adding it to my list of videos. So with the modeling complete, let's send it over to Cura and 3D print this piece out. The first step is going to be to cut down this aluminum rod to the proper length. So let me take off the front here. And let me set the new front piece on approximately where it's going to be. And I want that to run up to there, up against the 3D printed part. And then back here, I am just going to mark a line off where it should end. It doesn't have to be super perfect. I can always make some adjustments later. But, you know, the closer you get it, the better off you're going to be. And, of course, I didn't have a marker next to me, so I just used some old snippers here to put a little bit of an indent in the aluminum rod. I'm going to jump downstairs and cut this off using a hacksaw. Alright, so the length is looking pretty good. And this 3D printed part here is a little bit longer than the foam piece, and that's going to solve the issue of this bottom support being angled a bit. Now, what I want to do is work over here and figure out this attachment point. And then once I've got that piece figured out, I will be able to just wrap all the little details along this aluminum rod and make it look like the actual support piece. What I'm going to do is, let's say, so this attachment point is going to end right here and start right here. So I'm just kind of blocking off a basic measurement here. And the idea is I am going to build this core piece here out of wood. And that's going to let me get a nice secure attachment point to this stock, because the inner piece of the stock here is actually built out of wood. Basically, it has to measure this shape here with a little bit of an extra piece, the stretch down here that's going to go right here. And what was this notch? I guess I put some extra foam there. I don't know. I must adjust the size when I was building it. Let me just take this piece, put it down on some wood in the basement, and I'm going to cut it out using my jigsaw. Now, if you're thinking, well, that doesn't look like wood, you're right. Turns out I didn't have any 1/4-inch wood to cut the piece out of. So I use a material called UHMW. It's a type of plastic that's very common in small combat robots like Microflash Delta. And in fact, the piece I'm cutting out of here is an old structural piece from Microflash Gamma. So with that particular support piece cut out, it's time to work on filing down the top of the aluminum rod. Now this is to give a little bit of a cleaner contact between the flat bottom of the UHMW and the rod itself. Or once that's filed down, I then drill a hole through both the UHMW piece as well as the aluminum rod, where eventually a very long 3mm bolt will slide through there. And that will be how this bottom support piece attaches to the stock of the rifle. So it brings us back upstairs. Here I've got the completed UHMW piece and aluminum rod. Once that's in the right spot, it should be able to fit right up against the stock as planned. That's going to look pretty good, I think. The next step is to add all the details to this aluminum rod. I'm just going to wrap some foam strips around the rod and adjust the thickness as needed, or add some little details here and there, or whatever it may be. As with EVA foam of all types, the first thing you're going to want to do is to apply a little bit of heat with a heat gun to shape it, and therefore it'll be able to wrap around the narrow aluminum rod a little bit easier. To actually attach the foam to the rod, I'm going to be using some super glue in this case. I'm putting the aluminum rod back from the edge of the foam just a little bit because I know that I ended up actually cutting this aluminum rod a tiny bit short, or I misplaced the bolt hole here in the back. Either way, this is going to give me a little bit of extra room to firmly attach this piece to the front of the laser rifle. I got all three pieces of foam at least attached to the aluminum rod. Now I got to clean each of them up in a little bit of a different way. Starting in the back here, this is where the UHMW piece is going to have to go. So I am going to follow along the file down side that I made with the file earlier. I'm going to use my knife and just cut off the foam at that point. So let's move along to this piece right here. I really just want to very carefully go along the top of the foam, and then I'll glue this piece shut. So that doesn't look too bad. That also is going to need some cleanup later on in the future, but we'll get to that in another video as well. So now we get to the last one, the big 10mm wrap. And this one's going to be a little bit tricky. So I'm going to start by cutting a bevel like this. So the bottom inside corner of the wrap, that's going to get cut off. So I got to figure out how to cut the other piece. So I'm going to do the same kind of basic shape, but up here somewhere. So right around there, I've made a mark. Right about, come on, there, yeah, backwards motion. You can barely see, there's a line right there, trust me. Alright, so to seal this up, I put all the super glue in, and then I've got my old friend Gorilla Tape. So pinch things closed with your hands, and then pull the tape over as tight as you can. And I'm going to repeat this process along the open seam. And there we go. We'll let that go for a few hours. And we can pretty much call this part of the build done. So what we can do to buy some more time is we can attach the UHMW piece here to where it's going to go on the rifle. And because it's not a perfect fit, that is why I'm going to be using polyurethane glue or Gorilla Glue, because that's the wrong camera, that's the right camera. Because this, of course, is going to expand to fill the gaps. It should be decently strong enough to hold it in place. I will be reinforcing this to the stock of the rifle using some other materials along the side here, because there are these little details, but I'm going to worry about that in a future video. Okay, I'm just going to let that dry, and it'll take probably about an hour to fully cure. And once that happens, I can start figuring out exactly how long the aluminum rod section needs to be, but in the meantime we can remove the Gorilla Tape that was sealing it shut. After I dispose of this little pool of Gorilla Glue, mother, you know, just freaking pile of just. I shall return in a few minutes. So what I will do is I am going to take some super glue, apply it right down here, and that's going to glue this piece to the bottom of the 3D printed front barrel of the muzzle here. Then, well, before I do that, technically, I'll just douse this area and in there with some water, as well as the Gorilla Glue, which that will then expand to fill the tiny gap I have. And then the super glue should hold it in place, but I will also tape it in place while I gently tape it back here to hold it more or less in place as to where I think it should be. Alrighty. This will be fun. That'll be fun to clean up when this is all said and done with. A lot of fun indeed. Applying some super glue around here. back, just so I can hold it in place temporarily, I'm going to use some Gorilla Glue. Wait, no. I mean, goodness no. Gorilla Tape. I got too much Gorilla brand crap on this table. The basic gist of what I'm working with here, like I said, that's still going to be some more details I have to apply to make it look like the exact Fallout 4 laser rifle, but that's going to be a separate video. I'm going to do all the final detailing, the really cool detailing, once I get all the major modifications done to this piece. But with these parts out of the way, this whole area here is going to be a heck of a lot stronger. You're going to be able to hold it there. It's not going to be just kind of flopping around. And it's going to look a lot better than what it did before. And I'm going to be able to run around with this rifle. There's reasons for that. This needs to be a little bit higher quality in terms of durability and how it looks and all that fun stuff. I would love to make it have the quality of a, quote, movie hero prop for some reason. Just thinking out loud. So what else I'm going to be doing in this series, I'm going to be reapproaching the wiring a little bit. For some reason, I don't know yet, the Arduino seems to crash after about a minute. It's like a simple for loop, and the thing crashes. So I'm thinking that might be a short circuit somewhere in the wiring, and I don't know what happens. So I'm going to rip out all the guts at some point and redo the wiring a little bit, because I have to make the trigger look like it's supposed to. Over here right now, it's just a little switch, but I do want to build the whole trigger assembly that you see from the video game. The other major addition is going to be back here. So I'm going to replace the back with a 3D printed part. That way I get the right shape. There's also a little bulge over here for where the fusion cell goes. And then I'm thinking some other aspects like these things right here are going to become 3D printed as well. Maybe even these pieces. Oh, can't see those. Maybe even these pieces here. But like I said, I'm going to do all the 3D printed details at the end once I've rebuilt the major parts. Plus to get this thing a little bit better paint job. I need a nice Brotherhood of Steel logo, all crossed out and scratched off. I have Minutemen logo next to it. Because if you don't know, this is all for the Minuteman costume. Those little buttons I made a few episodes ago. And it's... That's how this show goes. But anyway, thank you guys all for watching. Once again, I'm Jason, the creator of the Tabletop Battlefield. If you want to see more videos here as I rebuild the laser rifle to make it even more awesome, be sure to hit that subscribe button. And if you want, hit that like button. And sometimes I pay attention to that information. I do keep track of that. I do like Battletech fans. They're the best, by the way. Just going to say, Battletech guys are awesome. But anyway, you know the drill. Thanks for watching. Have a great week. I'll see you next time.